Hi everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. In today's video, I'm giving you my guide for Yoshi the Drunkard. Because this champion is super underrated. You have been lied to. You have been deceived. Maybe a bit dramatic. I think certainly, because I remember when he came out, he was the St. Patrick's Day Fusion last year, so March 2021. I'm Irish, so, I was really hoping this guy would be really good, and I remember all the content creators saying that he sucked and he's a Vault Guardian, not worth using. Well, I actually do use him, because I was looking through his skills and said, this guy would fit incredibly well in my Doom Tower team, right, for pushing through Doom Tower hard. And in fact, I use him in basically every Doom Tower team to this day, and I want to show you how in today's video. This is the wrong screenshot. We'll come back to that. This is the right screenshot. But yeah, thank you to Matthew Barrow. Probably said it wrong. And there are also a few other people that left comments about Yoshi as well. But this was on the Ugo Spotlight video guide. And he said, nice job on the Ugo Spotlight. Pretty curious about Yoshi. I know a lot of people have him, and probably like myself, just have him sitting at 50 in the vault. With the Shadowkin Crypt opening soon, probably in the next few days, is Yoshi worth building out? Do you run Yoshi in the higher floors of Doom Tower hard? 90 plus. Maybe the next guide is on Yoshi. I'm on it. I'm shocked to see him in your Doom Tower team. Well, let us dive in and let's see what Yoshi can do. Let's look at his skills. And the thing I want you to bear in mind, right, when we're thinking about Doom Tower hard, what makes Doom Tower hard? The waves, right, the floors. What makes them so difficult? Basically, it's that these champions have crazy stats, right? They have huge HP pools, huge defense, huge attack. They smack you really hard. Basically, if they take a turn, they can completely destroy your team in one turn almost sometimes. They're also very, very fast, and they have tons of resistance, right? So for the top end of Doom Tower hard, you're looking at like 250 speed, right, to compete with. I think Sifi is the fastest champion in Doom Tower hard. Someone could correct me if I'm wrong. I believe there's a Sifi with like 249 or something like that, 250 speed. That's like the high end. Then about 350 resistance is again the high end. I think that's probably Warlord. So you got these really high stats you have to bust through. Let's take a look at what Yoshi does and how he really ties into that. So his A1, strong boost. Attacks one enemy, 30% chance of placing a stun debuff for one turn. Books up to a 40% chance of placing stun debuff for one turn. It's not too bad. It's decent. And one thing that is actually kind of important with Yoshi is that he has Force Affinity, right? Which is a really nice affinity. It's one of the rarest affinities in the game, particularly for free to play. It feels like every fusion is a magic affinity fusion. So Force Affinity is actually really good. And yeah, it's stun in the A1. It's a solid A1. His A2 is kind of weird. Flaming Spirits. When it's booked, it's a 2-turn cooldown. It attacks 2 times at random, and it is completely random. And it has a 75%, 100% when booked, chance of placing a 50% decrease accuracy debuff and a HP burn debuff for 2 turns. He can attack the same target twice. That can absolutely happen, which is a bummer. But there you go. But yeah, this is quite nice. He's just going to be spreading around some random HP burns, which obviously do really good damage with the high HP pools on these high Doom Tower floors. And decreased accuracy can be pretty decent as well if enemies do ever get turns, or if they've got nasty passives. So if you think about Torments, for example. Now, it's not reliable that you'll get this on Torment straight away, but if you do get it on an enemy Torment, most of your champions will probably have enough resistance that this won't, this will sort of stop those Torments from freezing you with their passive, which is quite nifty too. One weird thing that is important, and you'd need some masteries or accessories to get around it, or just save yourself a legendary book, right? But his 3 active abilities, his A3, we'll talk about in a second, it's a 3-turn cooldown, and it's his first priority. So he'll come in, he'll A3, then he'll A2, then he'll A1, and at this point, both of these will be back off cooldown, so he'll typically just go back into A3, and you sort of waste the cooldown on A2. I actually do find it is useful to have it booked out, because especially at the end of these waves, one thing you want to do on this really difficult wave content is you can just move into just stop using your abilities when you're down to like the last champion on the enemy team and just A1 them. especially when you've got good CC, like people in stun sets or whatever, or again, Yoshi coming in amazing with a great A1 for this, where you just slowly whittle them down with your A1, he keeps stunning them, they never get a turn, and your entire team just gets their cooldowns back up for the next wave. He's actually great for this because he can A1 them, then he can also A2 them as well, right? So it kind of speeds that up a bit, which is quite useful, but it is just something to bear in mind. And yeah, then he also has, oh, we should talk about his A3 first, of course, because this is his big ability. This is what makes him so good. 3-turn cooldown when booked, Battle Toast, puts 50% increased attack and 50% increased accuracy on all allies for 2 turns, and then it also has a 50% chance, that's a 75% chance when booked, of putting True Fear debuff on all enemies for 1 turn. Has a 100% chance when booked on enemies under increased attack. So this is actually really good. This is great. Number 1, it's giving you 2 very useful buffs. Again, bear in mind, Doom Tower hard, if we have to shoot for 350 accuracy, or indeed one of the bosses I'm going to show you as well, which is like more like 600 accuracy, increased accuracy is great for getting those numbers. It's great for boosting your stats and helping you reach those breakpoints. And then again, True Fear is also super useful. This is also, it's not an attack, right? He just places this debuff on enemies, so it doesn't matter what the affinity of the enemies are, he's still going to debuff them with this. Not 100% chance, but a solid chance. And it's just it's a layer of CC that's actually quite rare. There's not that many champions that can bring True Fear. I think it's really good. Then we have Partier, which is a passive, fills his turn meter every time by 4% every time an enemy receives a buff. Kind of useful for arena and just sort of a perk in PvE content. Not a huge deal, but it's nice. It's nice. And then he also has a speed aura in all battles for 19% speed. I think we generally tend to undervalue speed auras in the game because the arena speed auras are so inflated, right? Like Arbiter bringing you 30% speed in arena. Your all battle speeds are actually much more rare and not as powerful. The strongest possible one, be like Mother Cybele, would have 24%. So 19% is actually pretty solid and really helps him fit into a ton of teams. In particular, I'm going to show you crowd control teams in today's video. But yeah, I actually think in a lot of ways, he's got a ton of things that are familiar or similar with Operdin Clanfather. So the fusion that's starting on Monday, where they've got, you know, A1 and A2 are decent, but not amazing. They're okay. But it's really this one move that's super good that sets him apart, right? Brings him to the next level. So in terms of his artifacts and his build, his base stats, he's got tons of health, bad defense, he's got a good chunk of attack, and his moves do hit kind of hard. I haven't built him with any crit rate or intentionally built any attack though. The main things you need are speed and accuracy, and that's really all you need. With the teams I'm going to show you, he's almost never getting hit, and it's quite easy to build him to be tanky. You could build him with more crit, and maybe I will re-gear him with more crit at some point, but it's not really that important. He's super easy to build, actually. So I've got him in 2 perception sets and 1 resilience set, just faction war gear. We're looking for mostly, again, speed and accuracy, right? Speed and accuracy, lots of speed, 5-star piece, though speed here. HP % gloves with some attack and some speed, accuracy, resistance. He actually has a flat defense chest, but had 3 rolls in speed. In fact, as you can see, I haven't fully glyphed this stuff up. It's important for my team that he's slower than Brogni. I do run Brogni for the higher Doom Tower floors to deal with the Torments. So he can't be faster. If he's any faster, he'll outspeed Brogni, which would be bad, because then he'll put increased accuracy and increased attack in my team and freeze them all against enemy Torments before Brogni can block debuffs. But yeah, flat defense, not the worst because his defense is bad, but yeah, I mean, it's just there. And then he has speed boots. He's got HP ring, defense amulet, and accuracy banner. Again, you're super flexible. You can kind of build what you want on him. It's not a huge deal. Like against single target bosses, he'll do pretty good damage, so you could build him for more damage. I prefer to build him tanky. It's just simpler, it's safer, more supportive. For masteries then, got a weird mastery build, so we're going down standard, you know, tough skin for defense, blastproof for AoE reduction, resurgent to remove debuffs. That's actually really good. Then we actually get Harvest Despair, 60% chance to place leech for a turn when stunning or true fearing. He does both of those things, so this is actually kind of nice. He's going to get extra leech debuffs out, which is going to help heal your team. I think in particular for the Shadowkin faction crypt, I don't think they really have many healers or revivers. It's actually a pretty consistent source of healing with the leech, so it's pretty good. Then he has Retribution, Counterattack, works well because he's high HP and bad defense. And then Fearsome Presence, I think is important. Increase the chance of putting Stun and True Fear by 5%, right? So instead of a 40% chance to stun on his A1, it's a 45%. Instead of a 75% on his A3, it's 80%. That little bit makes a bit of a difference. Then going to support tree, we've got Accuracy, Accuracy again, healing him when enemies are killed. In particular, we need these to get across to these two, so we're going to get him Arcane Celerity, Turn Meter. When debuffs he casts expire, he does lots of debuffs. Rapid Response, when buffs expire, he gets Turn Meter. He does lots of buffs. Cycle of Magic and Lore of Steel are there really to unlock these two, which is Lasting Gifts, extend his buffs, 30% chance to extend buffs, and 30% chance to extend debuffs. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Weird build, not one you're going to use on many characters, but works really, really well on him. Let's dive in. Let's take a look at some Doom Tower Hard, which is the big place we're going to be running him. This is take 2 of the video, by the way. I got through take 1 and it was too long. I said I'd try to cut it down. So let's jump into floor 115. This is a seer composition. So by the way, I will mention quickly, I'll do another video on more Doom Tower teams. I'll show you the seer team there, but he does work pretty decently in a seer team, right? He brings you 2 buffs. He brings increased attack and increased accuracy on a 3-turn cooldown. That's pretty good going with a seer team. And he brings speed aura as well. He's kind of like a budget Duchess. Duchess is obviously way better. She brings you passive damage reduction from AoE. She brings block debuffs, increased attack, and Veil, or Perfect Veil. I think it's Perfect Veil, which is obviously better than what he does. And she can also revive. But he works. Like I'll show you. In fact, like whatever. Let me see. I think 116 was a pretty nasty wave. Yeah, like double Sifi, Rhodas, Mountain King. This like nasty. And yeah, you can see this is the team I ran. Was Yoshi, Seer, Lydia, Vizix, and level 50 Renegade, and they smashed it, right? So it does the job. It works. Not as good as Duchess, not as good, but it does work, right? And that's the important thing. So he does work in that team too. Let's go in with control team. I need for this floor to put in Brogni. And this is actually... Okay, so Brogni is not super free-to-play friendly. He was a fusion, but he was a difficult fusion. But this is, in my opinion, presuming that you have Yoshi if you're watching this video, this is a really free-to-play friendly. In fact, I'll show you the most free-to-play friendly version. Let me actually stick in the guy who would go in there. This is the most free-to-play friendly way to get through Doom Tower hard. So we have 2 login reward champions, Sylve the Drakes and Vizix, right? Vizix bringing AoE decreased speed on a 3-turn cooldown, AoE provoke on a 3-turn cooldown, and some turn meter manipulation. Vizix is amazing. We Sylve the Drakes bringing AoE stun on a 3-turn cooldown, healing and increasing speed, and then some decreased speed. She also brings a revive, which is useful because Vizix does put Ally Protect out, and Vizix can die with her Ally Protect and Provoke. Syl combo as well reses her. Then Archmage Helmet, who I have a guide on already on the channel. First reward from Doom Tower normal secret rooms. He brings AoE stun on a 3-turn cooldown, increased speed, boosting all the crit stats as well on a 3-turn cooldown. Super good. What does Yoshi bring to this team? Number 1, speed aura. No one else here has a good aura for Doom Tower, so speeding us up, helping us to reach those speeds. Number 2, he's bringing us increased accuracy, and the increased attack also boosts Helmet, and in this case Bellower, who you can't see, but Bellower, he boosts his damage as well, right? But yeah, for example, so Vizix is pretty good on accuracy, Syl's like 290, Archmage is solid, but like Vizix and Syl are a bit low on accuracy. No problem with our boy Yoshi, because he boosts their accuracy. Nothing to worry about, nothing to fear. This is going to be a team that kills things slowly. HP Burn is going to do its work here. The extra stun is really nice. Again, Syl and Archmage are both blue affinity, so they're going to struggle to stun and control red affinity characters. No problem. Battletoast places True Fear. Doesn't matter what affinity they are. He does his CC, and then he can help individually pinpoint target lock down red affinity, force affinity enemies that can be nasty. And then in this case, Bellower would bring you a minor decreased attack, decreased defense, then turn off this decreased speed because it's too weak. Just have him spam A1 and put him in a stun set. Have him run fast. He's just doing AoE attacks and placing block active skills. Sylar would be good as well. Void Epic. There's tons of good. I put Ugo in this slot. For today's, for this floor, for the higher floors, You do need someone like Brogni. You need someone to block debuffs, because we're going to be fighting Torments, and the Torments will just freeze your team. So you need a way to deal with Torment. Brogni's like, here's a Torment right now. So let's just see how this goes. Here goes Yoshi. He's put True Fear on 4 of these enemies, which is nice. So let's see this Mountain King. Will he get a go? Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Bam. True Fear. He missed his turn, and that's great because some of our CC was missing there. He did his A1. Didn't land a stun this time, but that's okay. Comes Battletoast in again. He's feared. There's True Fear on every single enemy now. He's also helping place some of these leeches. I think, you know, Syl and Vizix are also placing leech. We've got tons of leech on this team. So I'm not sure exactly who's placing it. But you see the idea with this team, right? This is one of the highest floors of Doom Tower. It's possible one of these guys will get a go and will smack us. We'll just let it run fully on auto. But the idea with this team, again, super accessible champions, is that we're not going to get through it quickly. We're not one-shotting these waves. But who cares? You're doing this like once per month, right? You're doing each floor once every month. The point here is we just go through, we are tanky, but more importantly, we're just controlling the enemy team. They just never have a chance to actually do anything. Here we go. This guy might get a go. It's Mountain King. Never mind. Yoshi feared him. Classic Yoshi. Coming in with a fear. But yeah, you get the idea. And you can see, like right there, his A2, both of the hits hit the one Mountain King, so that kind of sucks. You'd rather it spread around, but it's completely random. And again, one thing we can do here, look, these guys are almost dead. At this point, let's just switch to single target A1. I'll just bring you to the end of this wave, then we'll leave it. Here, Yoshi, go, hit him. There we go. Look at that, nice. Really nice thing here as well, for doing this A1 strat at the end, we don't really need to worry anymore as much about this Torment freezing us, right? Because now he's got decreased accuracy, so we should be reasonably safe. There we go, I think he just resisted. She got frozen, so it's not a 100% chance, but it's something. Stun set from Syl stuns this Torment, that's fine. And yeah, we'll just, I think has he died already? I don't know if he's died. He might pop back up, will he? No, he's dead. Okay, cool. But by doing these A1s, we basically come back around wave 2, straight in with the block debuffs, straight in with increased accuracy and the True Fear. He's hit 3 people this time, and we're protected. We're good to start laying in our crowd control. The really nice combo, if you look at that first wave of stuff, by the way, we have True Fear, which is not 100% consistent, and we have the stun from Syl, which is not 100% consistent, but and then Archmage is buffing, and she's doing decreased speed, and he's buffing, so it's not 100% coverage, right? But the idea is that it's enough coverage to lock down most stuff, and then this is where Brogni's super good. That Brogni is providing us that extra layer. Again, I didn't have Brogni the first time I beat Doom Tower hard, I think. But we did it with Bellower, and we got through. But it was, you know, it's obviously tougher. But you get the idea, right? You get the idea. I think I showed this screenshot by accident at the start of the video. But this was my run when I did it earlier today, right? So this is floor 115 we just did. It took, again, a ton of turns. It took 7 minutes. But who cares, right? You do it once, and then you're done for the month. That's it. Unless you're doing a guide on Yoshi, in which case you have to do it half again. But we can see the stats at the end here, and the idea is, again, that we just lock down the enemy team the whole way through. You can see Yoshi's damage actually adds up. That's entirely the burns, right? The burns, they're doing their little bit. They're doing their part, and then it's just all that the utility that he's bringing your team to make them function. That's really good. So yeah, that is consistently good on multiple Doom Tower floors. And like, just to I think I use a variety of teams here across these floors. Like on this floor, we ran with like a freeze team. I'll show you this in the Doom Tower video. This team is like Freezy Burners, which is based around Torment. So it's not free to play friendly, but just basically Torment does an AoE counterattack whenever someone is both frozen and burned and takes damage from their burn. So he's just like firing off like a machine gun, and we're just bringing like AoE freeze, AoE burn and freeze, burns, and boosting accuracy so we can hit the stat requirements, all of that. And yeah, it's good, right? It's good. So we got that team on one of these waves. Floor 112, I think, was quite a nasty one. Again, this was the control team you guys just saw right there. I think 116 is quite a nasty one. Yeah, this is a nasty one. Double Siphi, Rotus, Mountain King, and Stag Knight. Super nasty. We actually smashed it though. Again, Yoshi coming in here, doing his job in the Seer team, right? Doing his job in the Seer team with that level 50 Renegade. So he's super viable in a ton of these different teams. And yeah, that sort of gives you the idea of what's happening there. And again, he's going to do the same sort of thing in in Shadowkin faction Crypt, if I talk about, I'll show you Arena in a second, but like I've got Jintoro, you probably don't, but like he can come into your faction Crypt, give you speed aura, he's going to be giving you controlling the waves, and he's going to be boosting attack. You probably have Ninja, probably. If you've got Yoshi, you probably have Ninja. So he's going to boost up Ninja's attack, and Ninja does tons of damage. And then you're probably just going to mostly bring in supports. So for me, I'm going to bring in Jintoro as well. I think I actually will use Jintoro's aura, which is attack. And I'm just going to nuke everything down. I'm going to bring in Jintoro, Ninja, Yoshi, Taragi. Taragi will keep us alive. He can provoke. He can ally protect. I think that's going to be plenty, most likely. And then, I don't know, I've got to build up someone else. I'm not sure who I mean, maybe just Genbo, and we'll just nuke down all the waves and see how it goes. Or maybe Saki. Saki turn meter boosts also brings increased attack, which maybe conflicts a bit with Yoshi. But she brings Leech targeted, which is kind of nice for bosses. She might be good for bosses. I don't know. I'll see. Haven't quite decided, but that's sort of my gist on Shadowkin faction Crypts, where I think he's going to be really good. He can be good in Arena as well. I set up this meme defense, right? This is my meme defense. So you can build something like this. We got Skullcrown in the lead for speed aura. She obviously, you know what Skullcrown does, right? She goes unkillable. All of her attacks are AoE. Then I've basically got a bunch of people with passive. So the idea here is that Yoshi, with his passive, whenever someone gets a buff, he gets turn meter. So the hope is that he will cut in, interrupt the enemy team before maybe their nuker gets to go, and then he'll hopefully true fear their nuker. Once Arbiter has boosted them with attack, it's a 100% chance, so he can true fear, boost attack, and then hopefully Skullcrown just nukes them and blows them up. Seeker's in there with his passive. Then Vogoth's in there to heal us up when we get nuked. So I put this in as a defense. It's not super successful, but we won some, right? So it's mostly losing. It is mostly losing, but it's getting some wins here and there, which is kind of funny. Okay, this team was super weak, but it's working against some of these teams, which I think is funny. Let's actually see it in action. What team would it work well against here? This is high up in gold 4, so it's not super viable at this point. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Like right here, this team would destroy me because Sifi would block damage and block increased defense and block buffs, and you would die and she'd strip your stuff. It's just not good. Maybe there's no one here that's going to work again. Yeah, I wouldn't run it against any of these teams, unfortunately. So not viable as you go higher here. It might work against them. I actually run a similar team myself, but instead of Seeker, I run Brachus, who does the same deal. That basically Brachus, when he dies, he does an attack, which then increases defense. So like he'll die, he'll pop back up and like probably one-shot their Arbiter and then boost attack, and then you're pretty good to go. Or again, for me, obviously you guys know I've got Tormund. So Tormund basically does what Yoshi's doing, but better, which is, you know, Yoshi is sort of inconsistent with cutting in to the turn meter, because when Arbiter boosts attack, she also boosts turn meter. So yeah, Yoshi's gaining turn meter, but unless he's a good bit faster than their next champion will go anyway. So it's not consistent. Whereas Tormund's Tormund. So Tormund's better for what he does, but Yoshi sort of does a budget version of it. So yeah, I think this is a pretty budget team. And again, you could switch this around. There's plenty of other champions you could put in instead. I'm not sure if they're in my vault or not. No, so you could put in someone like Sandlash, right? Sandlash Survivor, she comes in, puts ally protection on allies when they drop to half health and block damage on her. We could put Sandlash in instead of Vogoth if you don't have Vogoth. You could put basically any nuker in Swift Parry in instead. Anyone with Swift Parry set, which basically 50% chance to go unkillable, could do a similar thing. And the idea is that, okay, hopefully someone with a passive is going to keep us alive. Yoshi will boost attack and CC them, and then we'll hope that our Swift Parry or unkillable nukers can do some damage. I use this specifically mostly in 3v3. I'll use it in 3v3. Let me find a good team where it would work. So here it would work perfectly. Ah, shit, I can't see it. But I'm going in against this team, and for me, my Arbiter's quite slow. So I'm going, how the hell do I beat this team? I stick in the meme team. And it's like, it might work, it might not. But I know for a fact, if I try to win the speed race, I know from my gear on my account that I'm going to lose the speed race like 80-90% of the time. So I'm not even going to try. I'll stick in a meme team, which is like, it's a chance to win. And it does win sometimes. Especially with Tormund, it works a lot more. But yeah, it works. And then I'll just send in my speed team against this team and nuke them. Or maybe my speed team against this team. Yeah, I'd send my speed team against this team and nuke them. And then I might put something else here. But you get sort of the idea is that in 3v3, you're choosing where to go. So it's like, okay, just basically Yoshi can fit in teams that give you somewhat of a counter to that, you know, the Arbiter meta. He's not amazing by any means, but he's okay. It's somewhere that you can use him, and it might be viable in some of your 3v3 teams. Some of that meme defense, right? Or some of the meme attack. But yeah, he's mostly, again, I would say Doom Tower hard, right? Faction Wars for Shadowkin. He's probably going to be worth building earlier in the game now for Shadowkin. I think he's, for dungeons and stuff, he's not really, nah, like I can't really see any of these dungeons where I would run him. I wouldn't run him anywhere. So he's not really good for dungeons or campaign. He's only okay for arena. He's not great for clan boss. Like, yeah, he can go into your arena team and he'd be okay for a while. He could go into your clan boss team, like your Hydra team, if you're really struggling. He could be okay to fill in. But it's mostly like when you're doing Doom Tower hard. That's where he really comes into it. Faction Wars, Doom Tower hard. So I think that of all the times to build Yoshi, now is the time with Shadowkin Faction Clip coming in. And if you're still progressing on Doom Tower hard, as I hopefully showed you in this video, he's really good for that. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. Actually, I forgot. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. Because I had the video. Yo, give me a second here, guys. Oh, I can't believe I forgot this. I forgot to show you him against the spider, didn't I? I did 2 takes and I showed this in the first take, and I think I forgot it this time. Hang on. Where are we? We'll end with this playing out anyway. In case I didn't talk about it. I'm not sure if I did. I feel like I didn't. But yeah, Frost Spider. He's super good against the Frost Spider boss as well, which is this current Doom Tower rotation. In short, this spider has 280 resistance, and when it has its frost armor on, it gets another 300. That's 580 resistance. You remove the 300 bonus resistance by putting HP burn on. And again, the only way to actually kill the spider is if you kill it with HP burn on, or if you kill it when it has, you can just see Yoshi right there, just burn it right straight up. Pretty cool. Or you can block revive, but that's sort of difficult to do. Yoshi's fantastic. So a budget version, this is my actual team. Like Elenarl has an unresistible HP burn on her A1, so she's great for this. And they're sort of nuking down this stuff. But like a fairly simple budget team for this would be Drexstar Blood Twin. Right, your Drexstar, he comes from the Bazaar. Stick him into your lead. He can burn on his passive. He can burn on his A1, and he gives you a 70 accuracy aura in all battles, right? And we're trying to hit a 580 accuracy. Well, if Yoshi's going in with the 350 accuracy I have him with, 350 accuracy plus 70 from the aura, Tomb Lord, by the way, who I do have in here, has the same aura, that puts you at 420 accuracy. And when he increases accuracy an extra 50%, that's another 210, you're up at 630 accuracy at that point, which easily beats the 580 that the spider has. So Yoshi by himself with an accuracy lead, he could even have a worse accuracy lead, or he could have less accuracy on Yoshi, and by himself he basically goes in, he boosts his attack, he boosts his accuracy, and then he can place the burn, and just by himself he burns the spider, and then your other debuffers can come in when the 300 accuracy 300 resistance is stripped off, and they can put on other debuffs and you can actually take it down. He also has a nice benefit because of the random hit in his A2. It's obviously often a downside that it's random, but the nice thing is that it actually lets him put burns on these spiders on the side, right? That's something Drexstar can't do because the spiders don't attack. They just buff the boss and debuff you. So I think they debuff you. But he basically, like, here we go. Look at that. Boom. He just burned both spiderlings on the side, decrease accuracy on them. It's going to help them die faster, kill the boss faster. And yeah, once they're dead, once the spiderlings are dead, then no problem. He's going to burn the boss for you, and then you can kill the boss. And he's great for that. You just put him in with the accuracy lead. So again, I suggest Drexstar or Tomb Lord is even better, I think, for this. If you got Yoshi, then you put, like, you could just put 3 defensive champions. Brogni, in this case, I have in. Rector Drath. Anyone that's just really good at keeping your team alive. Pixneal. if you've 18 spare legendary books, Pixneal's bis. If you got all those books, she's perfect. Yeah, so there you go. This is, again, endgame spider, Frost Spider. He's pretty much MVP for this as well. He's super good for it too. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching. That was Yoshi. I will see you next time. I'm not sure who I'm going to do. Can I find another super underrated champion? Maybe. We'll see. But thanks for watching. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.